What's up everybody, this is B is for Build. I'm Chris, over there we got Eric, and it's time to work on our list. If you guys remember, a week ago, before we decided to do a rear mount radiator and rocket launchers, we were working our way through this list. Now this is kind of the list of what we need to do before we can take this car out on the event, and we're getting through it, and it's time to just keep getting through it. We kind of have a little bit of a goal to see if we can get the car street legal tonight, so tomorrow morning we can drive it down to Cars and Coffee, Portland, and just hang out with some viewers of the show, and maybe get some more inspirational ideas for what to do next on this car. Also to come in this episode, hydraulic e-brake, and maybe new exhaust, but we're not quite sure yet. Stay tuned. Alright guys, because we sold the mirror, so your mirror is on here like this, and it just has two bolts on the back and then this long annoying wire. So you pull that all out, and I kind of wanted to show you guys a trick that you can do if you're on a tight budget, which is motorcycle mirrors off of eBay. So motorcycle mirrors are DOT approved, and they're normally going to come kind of generic and like this, and they're going to have a couple bolts. So then you can just jump in here, make any type of plate that you need, adapter, and then bolt these guys on in any way that works, and you can rotate this around and different things like that. So that's what we're going to do with this, because we don't have any budget. So these mirrors were 20 bucks. I sold those for 60 bucks, so we're profiting $40. And they look kind of cool. I'm actually probably going to buy another set of these for another car that I have as well. All right, we got our new mirrors mounted up, budget motorcycle mirrors. These things, you know, two bolts on the side, and they actually match right up with two bolts that were already in the car, so we just shot some bolts through, nuts on the other side, nuts and washers. So we got that side, and we got one on that side, and they're awesome! $20 budget mirrors, so if you have a drift car or something and you bust a mirror, order motorcycle mirrors on eBay. So next thing, we need to jack up the front of this car and bleed the radiator system. Alright guys, a lot of you know that on the channel we try and find cheap ways to do things, so this is going to be a test. These are some E36 headlights that I pulled off the 318 that we got a radiator from. They are pretty much toast, but what I wanted to do was try the Harbor Freight lens renewal system and see what it'll do. So this is a $10 lens renewal kit, and I'm going to try and bring this headlight back from the dead. Alright, well that's our headlight, all lens restored. I didn't really put a lot of work into the top and the sides, and that could probably improve it pretty drastically, but it's not OEM, it doesn't look as good as new, but check out what it looked like before. So this is the one from the other side. So pretty drastic result in change, and actually now that I can see the actual plastic, I'm starting to think how cool it would look if we took this outer lens off. So that's something that I'm going to look at before mounting it on the car. Alright guys, well about an hour of elbow grease and a $10 kit, and we were able to completely restore these lights. So it's time to start mounting these, like figure out where we want to put them and build brackets for them. To do this light though, we need to cut away some of this busted up fender. It's also going to block our steering angle. So I'm going to get in here with some hammers and some cutting tools and straighten this stuff out. It's time for a status update. We got the bumper on, and we did some drift stitching down here just to get things together a little bit better, and then we are going to work on mating this side up so I can get my light in there, and same over there. So it's just kind of like headlight placement at this point. And Eric got the rear bumper off over here, and we are working on getting the crash bar out of that so we can mount it back on the car. Alright, Eric and I found yet another way to get sidetracked. So we were going to put the spare tire back where it went, but we really like this crossbar because it's structurally additive. Anyways, so we got this tire back here and we're thinking, where are we going to put it? And we decided that we're going to mount it up here where the, what's that thing called? I don't know. It's some back where the speakers bolt in. It's called the back speaker holder thing. So we're going to mount it to that. So what we're doing is we're building a bracket to go behind it and support it. And then we're going to send a bolt down through there. We're going to use a little cup that can connect to the bottom of the wheel. And it'll sit in the center of the wheel, and then we'll suck the wheel up and it'll hover right about here. Alright, it's all on there. You can see our brace in the back through the window, sorry. That's our little bracket that we meant to brace it. And, well, that's just a tire. And underneath, we got our little cup thing that holds it on there. And it's on there nice and sturdy. So sweet, we got our spare tire and I got room for storage. Win-win. Alright guys, we're back and it's a new day and I wanted to show you kind of what the game plan is so far. So the front right headlight fits in there pretty well. We got some real cool drift stitching around here. And we trimmed the fender just to stitch it straight to the bumper. That turned out pretty cool. So this light actually has enough room to kind of get placed right there and the bulbs will point forward. This one unfortunately does not. And that's because of how we built this core support. So what we need to do is cut that core support and re-weld it. And I don't want to do that because Eric put a lot of hard work into making that. And so I want to make him cut it up rather than him show back up at the shop and me have destroyed his work. So what I'm going to do until then is wire up the headlights. So what you need to do is find all your wires. So whenever you have a destroyed vehicle like this, you know, you're going to have like a bunch of plugs everywhere. And so I'm looking for fog lights, low beams, high beams. And so I'll be searching around with all the wires and grab the multimeter and test different things with the car in different settings and see which one works out. Real quick, I want to do an explanation on how to use a multimeter and check these wires. A lot of you guys I know already know how to do this, but if you're at home and you're just learning about cars and stuff like that, and you're trying to diagnose electrical or trace electrical or whatever, here's a real good way to do it. Grab a multimeter. This is one that I got at Harbor Freight if you're in the United States. It was free with another purchase, so it's a super cheap tool. Switch it to DC, 20. All this is going to do is move digits around on the screen, but 20 is going to be easier to read for you. And then your positive lead goes in this hole. I have no idea what that represents, and your ground goes in here. A lot of this stuff you don't need to know all the ins and outs of the entire thing, and it can look very intimidating at first, but a lot of it doesn't matter. So anyways, 20, that, and now I'm just like, I was hunting through wires. The other side I didn't find anything, so turn the car on, turn the headlights on, so that then the headlights should be sending power to the headlight. We don't have one obviously, so I just guessed and said, okay, I think this one was it, and I got lucky on the first try it is. So the way you can tell that is you just stick your pin here on this side and this side, so you're bridging it, and it's just measuring power. So you can see I'm almost at 12 volts, 11.9 volts. That's the power that it would send to turn on the headlight. Actually, I think it said negative right there. Negative. So all that means is the negative just means you have your ground and your positive flipped around. So the ground's actually that side, positive is actually that side, and now it's going to read positive, you know, 11.9. So negative, positive doesn't really matter, and all this is doing is reading the amount of power flying through it and giving you a readout here. So when you see 12, now this wire, like this wire and ground is hot and it's good, so I can cut these wires here and wire them into my new headlight, and I know that, okay, that's the headlight switch. Moving on, I flip on the high beams, test out this one. This one's only hot when the high beams are on. Great. Okay, so that's my high beam. So that's my low beam, high beam. Next, I'm looking for blinkers, and you know, you can kind of go through that way. So if you're trying to wire something up to auxiliary in your car or something like that, you know, grab a multimeter, start poking at wires, and you know, you could just test them out and flip different switches on your interior and find the wire that's hot at the right time when you want it, and it'll read out like that. Alright right, guys, now that I got everything wired up and everything's plugged in, we're gonna go ahead and give it a test run. Let's do low beams. We got no low beams. Low beams, high beams. Good, try my side blinker. Good, other side blinker. Good. Fog lights. We got no fog lights. Ah, you can't have fog lights with your high beams on probably. Okay, we only have one fog light. Okay, so we gotta worry about this other fog light. We'll figure that out, but other than that, we're all good. Woo! All right, now that the boring necessary stuff is taken care of, it's time to try and wire in our hydro e-brake. So we need to get to our ABS distribution block, which is down here. The idea is we're gonna swap a couple lines around there and then plumb in our own going back to the hydro e-brake. And neither of us are really familiar with the BMW platform, but I think to get down to this, we're gonna wanna take this off. And I took the fuse box cover off, and we're just starting to like kind of rip stuff off to try and get it down to there and open up the space so we can work around there. Okay guys, so we were able to get to the ABS distribution block, and right over here is your primary inlet, and it's got a V on it because it's German for front. And over here you have an H, which is rear. And what you'd want to do is take this rear, pull it off, and run into your hydro e-brake, and then, which would be inside your car obviously, and then out of your hydro e-brake and back into the distribution block. So when you pull the crank on your hydro, it'll pressurize that line and lock up your rears. So here's the problem. I told you this was a budget hydro e-brake. It's basically garbage that we got from China, and the threads are nonsense. We took it down to the local auto parts store and we tried every single brake fitting that they had, and we could not get anything that correctly matched the threads for this one over here. We had some that matched over here, but these ones were different for some unknown reason. So we couldn't get brake lines to do that, so we can't run hydraulic brake lines. We did a little bit of searching online though and found out that the E46s have dual drum brakes. So a lot of cars just have one drum brake for their e-brake. This one has two. So a lot of people doing like entry-level drifting and stuff just still run their e-brake because it's got two drum brakes, one on each side when you pull the lever. But this lever, whatever, is a little bit lame. So we want to upgrade it. We're going to use the hydro e-brake handle. And mix that with our mounting point over here and the cable driven one. So we're going to make a cable driven e-brake that we can punch just like on the drifty style, and I think it's going to be really fun. So this is BS for Build's take on a hydro cable driven e-brake thing. Alright, so normally your hydro E, this is kind of where we want to put it. Underneath there is the airbag computer. We've removed the airbags from this car, so I'm going to pull that computer out of there, and then hopefully we'll be able to mount right about here. And normally this is how it goes. The box is in the back. Your cylinder piston thing that was right here we've removed, and you yank on this and that locks it up. We're going to flip it around though, and then we're going to run the wires of the cables from here. We're going to extend them, run them up through the back of this over a nice little bendy piece, and then we'll have a lot of levering action when this isn't stuck here. We'll have a bunch of lever action. Damn, that's a tricky thing. We'll have a lot of room to lock. So that's the game plan. Alright guys, this might just look like a mess of cables to you, but here's our cable that we bought from the hardware store that we're going to run around our hydro. Well, no longer hydro, just our lever. And this is what it looks like when you pull the stock e-brake out. So these go back to your drums. I assume that's the right and that's the left drum. So these are the cables that go back to your OEM drums, and we are going to join our cabling to these ones and then run them up and through our lever. That way when we pull on them, it's just like pulling on this. Alright, so Eric is welding this little wheelie gizmo onto the back of this that we found at Home Depot. And what that's going to let us do is run cables in the back and then loop them around and run them to the front so we can attach them to the handle. Cue the fireworks! Alright, well here it is, finished product. The level of hackery here is outstanding, to say the least. Our engineering really knows no bounds. So this is like some weird swivel thing we got at the hardware store, welded onto the back. You got the extensions coming off of the stock lines. So that's our right rear and our left rear. Coming up, running underneath, around, then they bend around and go back to a loop in the handle. And then when it's ready to go, you just jam that and we're good to go. And that hits our, you can hear them squeaking back there in the back of the car. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Cable e-brake, just like the stock e-brake, except you pull it. Well, you pull it a different direction. Brilliant. All right, guys. Well, that is the end of the episode for tonight. Sorry there's so many bugs in here. I think we left the window open today. The handbrake came together really kind of at a sideways idea. Like we wanted to go hydro and then we ended up going cable because cable seemed to be really good. And it was really fun, except for it was a little bit too fun. I was in there like playing around doing the wah idea, and I yanked on it too hard and I ripped the mounting plate, the stock mounting plate off of the transmission tunnel. So that was a bit of a flaw in our design as we mounted it to something that like wasn't really strong enough. But also on an e-brake, you know, there's kind of an ending point, and ours didn't have one, so you could just yank it too far and too hard, and that's what I did. So we're gonna come back in the next episode and refine this idea. I think I've got a better idea where we're gonna use the base. The base of the idea is gonna be with the OEM handbrake, so this will be something you guys can follow along with at home, and it'll be minimal like parts that you need to buy and stuff like that, and I think it's going to be really cool. I've got an idea up here kicking around, and it should be, I'm not going to say revolutionary, but an idea. It'll be worth watching. So tune in next week when we do that. We do trunk louvers, and we're thinking about different exhaust ideas. We were going to try and go out the side today, but we can't because there's fuel tanks under there, man. We cannot drill through the fuel tank. Fucking bugs. So that's it for the episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. You can find us at facebook.com/B is for Build, and we are B is for Build on Instagram, and we have a website, B is for Build. Oh, and I cannot forget, the E46 shirts are available right now for pre-sale. I'm sorry that they're on a pre-sale, because pre-sales are kind of lame, but they are really good for us because we're really small and it helps us judge the amount of shirts that we really need to order and we need to create. I don't want to create a bunch of excess because then we end up with a bunch of excess and that's really not good. So sorry that they're on pre-sale, but they will be on pre-sale for 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, 14 days, or maybe even less, they will ship out, which will be the same day that we are taking this baby on the Oregon 500 rally, so you can be wearing your shirt, eating your popcorn, drinking your milkshake, watching us on the big screen, as long as you own a big screen. So the shirt should be right here. I probably put it there already. And check it out. Check out the design. Let me know what you guys think about it. And I hope you like it. And it's available for pre-sale right now. So check that out. The rest of the shop is at bsforbuild.com. Scroll to the bottom. You can see the shop. Buying any of the merchandise on the shop, all the proceeds go directly to helping us do stupid stuff like cable-driven, modified hydraulic e-brakes. Who doesn't want to see more of that? Thank you guys very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace!